I was carrying some groceries home the other day. We live sort of very near Save-On Foods, and I was carrying some groceries up, and I was a bit overloaded with the groceries at the time, and instead of putting one down, I tried to reach for my key and open the door, and let one bag fall and scattered it all over the floor. You know that. And anybody ever done that? So I said to myself instantly, I said, there's got to be a lesson in this. So the lesson was, of course, I should have put the bag down to do it, okay? That's a simple lesson. But then a deeper lesson. If we want to go through a new door into a new life experience, if we want to cross a new threshold, there's things we have to put down. There's things we just have to let go of, that we have to put down. And so I invite you to think, if you're at maybe some kind of threshold in your life, and you know you're carrying too much. Anybody carrying too much? Oh, you know what it's like. I know there's people here carrying too much. You know you're carrying too much. Now, what are you willing to put down? Because you see, you can't get through that doorway past that threshold if you keep holding on to stuff you don't need to hold on to. Everybody with me so far? And you know, as I say, when we come here, it's not like the old-time church. This is a spiritual center. And our purpose is to help each of us find our spiritual center within us. We don't save you. That's a do-it-yourself job. You know, as I said before, like Home Depot said, you know, you can do it, we can help. But you can do it. So, I'd like to consider that each of us is an expression of God, of the divine, of the one power, of the creative power of this universe. Each of us is that, and we've been told it so many times. You know, whether like the Hindus call it the Atman, or Jesus called it the kingdom within. He said, you know, seek first this kingdom and its right way of living, and all shall be given to you. And yet we get so caught up in our wonderful world, so excited what's happening in all the different things. You know, you walk through Save-On or Save-On, you see all these magazines, you know, people, us, and all the gossip, because people want to know about what other people are doing, what the stars are doing, and all that sort of stuff, and so forth. And if we can only spend more time looking into ourselves and discover what our own story is, what's my inner gossip? What are you gossiping about this week, inside, within you? What's your inner gossip? Because your inner gossip may be the story that you need to leave outside the door if you want to go into a new life experience. And so it's really up to us to understand that we have something very precious within us. It's a gift we came to share in this life. And this is my way of sharing it. You can find whatever ways you want to share. I know many people here do share their gifts in beautiful ways. And it reminded me of a story I heard about a woman who found this little dried up sponge near the beach. And it was like folded over, and it was totally dried up. And so she figured, well, the ocean is just down there, let me walk down. And she walked down to the ocean, and she dipped the little sponge in the water. And she watched as the sponge came alive. You know, little bubbles just coming out of it, bubbles flowing out of it, and so it just came alive. And then the most amazing thing that happened was a tiny little fish swam out of that sponge. It had been trapped somehow, had been asleep in that little sponge for goodness knows how long, and it swam out into the ocean. And I thought, you know, many of us live our lives where we're closed up. Our heart is closed like that sponge. And there's love that wants to flow through us, to bless us, and to bless our world. But we don't step into the water. We hope somebody else will do it for us. Or maybe someday I'll get around to it. Have you ever seen around to it? Around, as a home around. Maybe someday I'll get around to it. But the fact of the matter is that, as Eric Fromm wrote, this is a book I read many years ago, I love his writings. He wrote in his book, The Art of Love. He says the whole life of the individual is nothing but the process of giving birth to himself or herself. And the greatest tragedy in life is that most human beings die before they are fully born. Isn't that sad?